Jay Allen from My TrueNORTH, from the author of both Add a Zero Scale base, Establishing Base Camp and Scales to Summit. And today's insight is entitled Carpe Diem. It's all about being able to seize the day. Now, at the time of recording this, I'm reflecting on the fact that it's 3 years to the day that I received news that Mum had sadly passed. Now, thankfully, it was peacefully in a sleep of old age as opposed to any illness or ailment. And for that, I'm blessed and most grateful to have had such an incredible time with her in the period of time that she was with us, and now know that she's passed through to the other sides to be recommitted and reconnected with her late husband. But today, it's really important to be able to talk about the importance of living life and not just surviving life. Now, don't get me wrong, lots has happened in the last couple of years or so. We've gone through a global pandemic, and obviously in parts of the world that still continues to be a grave concern to a number of people. And there's a war in Europe and Brexit, and there's been all sorts of things that have happened over the last 2 or 3 years that have perhaps challenged our willingness to be able to step up and step out and to do something, not necessarily outrageous, but to make big decisions, long-term plans, to be able to fully commit to what it is that's happening. Sometimes it's been easier to be able to put the mask on and lock ourselves away, but in the risk of not moving the needle forward. And yet, what I want to quickly share today is the importance of remaining present. We spoke yesterday about, applying some time in your business and committing to working on it rather than just in it all the time. And today I want to be able to talk about the importance of the time that we commit and what are we committing to? What is it that we're doing? Are we moving the needle? Are we having some high value activities? Or have we got caught and stuck in the rut of doing the same thing again and again and again? And so today in book 1, Establishing Base Camp, starting on page 40, in the first chapter, there's not just 1 or 2, but there's 10 different ways to encourage us to be able to find the motivation to be able to really commit to both you and your goals, personal goals, and also how to be able to fully commit and get a team to commit to your business goals. It's all about being able to seize the day and saying, today's it. It's not a case of saying, well, once we get past the summer holidays, we'll then start to think about, once Christmas is out of the way, the school holidays are coming up, there's Easter coming along. There's a lovely expression. You can make excuses or you can make money, but you'll never make both. And therefore, there is no better time than today, right now, after this video's finished, to be able to commit to making that decision, to doing something that moves the needle forward. Perhaps a quick example I can give of this is a client we recently worked with called Scott. Now, Scott's got a small business in the northwest of England, and had been doing okay for himself, and then COVID and lockdown came along, and there was a significant series of challenges in his business that he's really struggled to be able to overcome since lockdown's been eased and we've started to move back into the physical world. And rather than sit on his laurels or hope that it'd all wash over, Scott did the right thing and he started looking for a solution, something outside of the norm that allowed him to be able to move the needle forward. There's a lovely expression by Einstein that says, you will never overcome any problem using the same level of thinking as that which caused it in the first place. And obviously he got quite caught up in the being in the business all the time that perhaps he just couldn't see the wood for the trees. And so looked out on Google and tried to be able to find some help and support, and came across My TrueNORTH as the ethical coaching company and reached out and had a conversation. Now, initially, he completed our free Add a Zero scorecard to be able to get a good transparent look at all of the different 8 elements in any business to be able to identify where is he paying attention and perhaps where he ought to be paying attention, with a report that's bespoke to Scott in his business, that's enabled him to be able to understand that he's been applying a lot of attention in just a few areas of the business, at the risk of leaving some of the more essential things to pasture, really. It's to hope that they would fix themselves. Now, one of the things that Scott chose to do is to take us up on the invitations to be able to have a VIP day, a full day of one-to-one coaching where we could fully understand the problem and not just come up with a solution, but help to implement it there and then on the day. And that VIP day was a few weeks ago now, and I'm delighted to be able to share that not only did we able to fix the problem, but we're able to identify as to how the problem had occurred in the first place, and therefore not just putting a fix on this, that if or when it happens again, this is what to do about it, but to understand what caused the problem in the first place. In Scott's predicament, it was a cash flow problem. There'd been a significant change in the way he did business, where there was a lot more expenditure up front, and yet it's still got the old terms and conditions pre-COVID that were 30 days on invoice. And what we often found is that his average debtor days was between 46 and 47 days. He was burning a lot of cash at the very beginning of the contract with somebody, and it was taking 6, 7, 8 weeks to be able to recover any of that money. And as the business continued to grow, as the inquiries started to come in, there was a cash flow shortage. He was growing broke. So what we did is we looked at the business model, we looked at his pricing strategy, we looked at the type of clients that he was able to attract and the type of offer that he puts together and the package, and we were able to review and revise the whole of his business strategy in a single day. We were able to look at where the problem had originated from, the type of business that he was doing, the type of people he was operating within, the pricing model that he'd chosen. And let's face it, most people have done well, that's what the most expensive is and that's the cheapest and I'll go somewhere in the middle. Well, Scott had fallen into that bracket too. So we went all the way through a pricing strategy and a business modelling strategy, developed it in a day and then put it into place. And I'm delighted to be able to say that over the next 2-3 weeks he's had a significant cash injection into his business, as some of the clients wants to be able to fully take advantage of the opportunity available to them until the end of June, so we can implement a new pricing strategy that's really going to be able to generate some proper income for him in a lot more safer environment from the 1st of July onwards. It's only through being able to look at a problem through a different perspective that we can actually understand how best to be able to move forward. And I'm delighted that we're able to support Scott in doing that, because he chose to be able to address a problem, seize the opportunity and move towards a solution. So my question for you today is, what are you doing right now that's contributing towards your high net worth activities? Are you doing $10 tasks at the expense of £10,000 opportunities? You really have got to review as to whether you're an operator or an owner within the business, and then make a move towards being able to make a significant or transformational move within your business. God bless, take care. If you're watching this on replay, simply put #replay, but drop a message below and let me know as to what are you doing today to seize the moment. Carpe Diem. See you soon.